Good evening, Master Coaches. It's Miles here. Welcome to another episode of Coaching for Coaches. I hope this finds you well. If you're watching live, let me know in the comments. Let me know that you're here. Give me a yo in the chat so that I can identify you and give you a shout out. So today I want to talk to you a little bit more of a marketing-based theme today. Specifically going to talk about attracting high fee coaching clients and how to do it without any paid advertising and without really a lot of effort, how to get high fee paying clients with ease. Before I do, just a couple of things just to let you know, if you're watching and it is at the time of doing this video, late January 2023. At the end of February 25th through 26th, we have our Master Coach 2, our Advanced Master Coach certification, which is basically your original Master Coach training, but like the Red Bull equivalent of it. Really ideal. If you've already done Master Coach 1, it is the perfect next thing for you to do because it will give you a brand new system, 12 sessions, 12 scripts, etc. So when you enroll a client into your original Master Coach system, at the end of the 12 sessions, clients often say, what do I do? What do I coach them on after 12 weeks or 12 months? Well, when you enroll in Master Coach 2, it will literally give you the perfect transition to keep that client with you and take them a whole lot deeper. In Master Coach 2, we work on their values, their beliefs, their character, so much more than that. It is my life's work, Master Coach 2. It is, I would say, probably the if you think the level of depth in Master Coach 1 is good, wait till you check out Master Coach 2. So you'll arrange a call and send you some information about that. So let's get on with today's show. So I want to talk to you specifically about attracting high fee paying clients. Most amateur unsuccessful coaches that I come across often have a belief that they can't charge high fees for their coaching unless they've been in the industry for like years and years and years. And it's frankly not true. And the reason it's not true is because of this thing that you may have heard me talk about before, which is niche. You see, when you have a niche that is specifically targeting a high fee paying customer, as long as you have the ability to resolve a specific pain or problem, as long as you've clearly identified the promise that you're going to give that client, most high fee paying people that would be willing to invest in coaching frankly don't care how long you've been in the industry as much as they care about whether you can resolve the problem. So one thing I just want to kind of demystify is this thought that you've kind of got to build up to high fee paying clients, because you really haven't. And I want to share with you in this video a story that illustrates that. So my first coaching business, which still exists today, many of you may know, it's called Miles More Members. I can't take the credit for the name, somebody else came up with that. But Miles More Members is effectively a sales coaching company that trains gyms, fitness centers, leisure centers how to get more members and keep their members once they've joined, so retain them through customer service training and all that stuff as well. And before I had a single client, I had no evidence of success. I had sold around 20,000 memberships in probably 150 gyms all around the United Kingdom. So I had experience selling, but I didn't have experience of teaching selling, right? Then, whether it was by luck, coincidence, or design, I'm not going to pretend that this didn't happen and that I actually did something proactively, because I didn't. But an old client of mine who I'd worked in my job doing membership sales, called Declan, he owned a gym in Stevenage in Hertfordshire. He reached out to me randomly out of the blue when I'd left the organization that I was working for and said, hey, Miles, how do you feel about coming to deliver a workshop on sales for me and the team? To which my response was, I'd love to, but I don't know how. And it's really interesting because Declan obviously had a perception about me because I had probably sold about 600 memberships in his gym in 2 6-week periods. So obviously he'd got a belief about my ability to do that. He said, yeah, I think you'd be great at that. It's funny because at that point, I'd never even thought of it. He said, I think you'd be great. It just so happened that I had become certified as a coach. He said, I think you'd be great. How about you come and do it? We'll pay you for the day. I was like, wow, sounds amazing. So, and I'm going to get to the point of the story in a second that is relevant to you so that you know how to apply this. So anyway, I went in, delivered this workshop, kind of winged it, kind of made it up, kind of blagged it. Although I did have the experience in the space, I didn't have the experience of putting a structured workshop together. But at the end of a day's training, I had like 5 or 6 of the personal trainers and Declan saying, this was great, this was amazing. It took for me to have one of the personal trainers say, that was really good. If you ever need a testimonial, he said, let us know. And I'm so glad that I kind of had this light bulb moment there and didn't wait until I'd gone home. Because in that moment, I thought, why don't I get the testimonials now? So that's what I did. So I said to Declan and the personal trainers that had said that they really enjoyed it, I said, if I got my phone out and I just recorded you for like a minute, would you be willing to say like who you are, the name of your gym, because they've all got their logos on their clothes, and just basically, would you be willing to rave about the workshop the way that you've just said to me? And so they did. So I've now got the owner of the gym, who owns 3 or 4 gyms, by the way, the owner of the gym to rave about me and the staff and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, to cut a very long story short, I'd been starting to read about marketing. I had been starting to read about marketing. One of the things I'd read is a book by Robert Cialdini called Influence. Great book. And in this book, Cialdini talks about the fact that 6 laws of influence. Definitely get the book. And one of the laws of influence is what we call social proof. Now, what that means is effectively reviews and testimonials provide credibility for a person before they make a decision to buy. So the business can rave about themselves till they're blue in the face. If they have testimonials, people will trust a stranger because, well, why would they lie? But if you rave about your business, they probably will say, well, you would say that because you're the owner, right? You want to get a sale. And I'd read this and it's like it connected the dots together because I was like, I'd read this book, then they said it was good. And then I'd got these testimonials because I think I thought of the Cialdini thing. And then it was just like, I got this idea. And the idea was, I said, you know what I'm going to do with these testimonials, specifically the one from the owner. I said, I'm going to contact as many gyms as I can find to tell them, hey, I'm working with this client. And I made it sound like they were like a long-term retainer client, which they weren't. But I dressed it up like, hey, I'm working with this gym brand, and they're a well-known gym in the country. And I said, I'm working with this gym brand, and I want to work with you and all this kind of stuff. And I reached out to all these independent gyms. Some people didn't reply, and some people did. And then the ones that did, I arranged meetings. Some of them we didn't get anywhere. Some of them, kind of fizzled out, and some of them it turned into paying customers. So we're not at the point yet. The next point was, I thought, well, I can't do loads of free workshops, but I had this vision. And I was like, I love working with the little independent gyms. I was like, but I really want to work with the big corporate gyms, like the Fitness First and the David Lloyds and Pure Gyms. And you might know some of these gyms, especially if you're in the UK. Basically the gyms that, you'll find in the big cities. And there's like multiple of them, right? Kind of like supermarkets of gyms, 24 hours and all that stuff, gated entry. Sure, wherever you are in Europe, you're familiar with that. And so I thought, who do I know that works for one of these big corporate gyms? And I reached out to someone I knew called Alison, who worked at Fitness First, the big chain in the world. And I said, I'd love to come and deliver a workshop for you for free, no charge. All I ask is that at the end, you give me a review, a testimonial to tell me whether you enjoyed it or not. And she was gobsmacked that I would do it for free. But I had a strategy. My strategy was very clear. If I get Fitness First testimonials on camera, I can use those testimonials as leverage to negotiate meetings with other gym chains around the UK and even around the world. And that's what I did. So I went to Fitness First, I delivered the workshop, did it for free. It then turned into paid workshops with other Fitness Firsts, because obviously they were like, wow, if he's been there, can we have him? And I didn't obviously tell the other Fitness First that I went there and did it for free. So they had to pay. So I got some Fitness First clients, got to do some leadership training for Fitness First as well. And then I leveraged it into a meeting with Easy Gym, who are part of the EasyJet kind of group that you might have heard of, the airplanes. Sat down with the CEO. We talked about a one-off workshop. He then gave me the license to deliver it to all of his gyms. It was like 12. And then it just went from there, like David Lloyd and Pure Gym. And it literally just spanned from that. So the moral message of this video is really, really quite simple. If you want to attract high fee paying coaching clients, ask yourself this question. Who's got a lot of money that you know that you could get a result for? So let's say you got a background in legal. Go and find someone who owns a legal business and say, hey, like, this is my niche. I specifically work with people in legal. I have a coaching workshop or program. Maybe you just deliver a trailer. It's usually costs, and don't say like £250, because, you know, let me tell you another story. I had a gym that they didn't choose to work with me because I said I was like £1,000 for the day or the workshop or something. I can't remember the intricacies of it. And when they said they were good, they were literally going to go with me. And the last moment they said, oh, we decided to go with someone else. And I was like, okay, cool. Not a problem. I was gutted, but I said, do you mind if I ask why, so I can use the feedback to, you know, improve? And they said, yeah, literally, we went with the other person because they cost more. So we assumed that they must be better. It was a real lesson for me on not undercutting your price, because often the perception is it's not as good. So if you're a coach here thinking lower price is going to be better for you, just think about two cars in a showroom, two Toyotas in the showroom, two red Toyotas in the showroom. They look the same, but they've both got a price sticker in the window. Car number one says £10,000. Car number two says £50,000. Which car do you think is better? You're obviously going to think the one that's £50,000. You must be like, well, they look the same, but that one must have leather seats and a turbo engine or something different about it. Otherwise, it must be electric or whatever, right? So don't be fooled into thinking cheaper is better, and it will get you more sales, because it often will hurt your coaching business. So the moral message of this is simple. Ask yourself this: who do you know that can afford coaching? And you definitely want to think about looking at corporates and businesses and business people. Highly recommend that. Then start inviting for free, basically like you would with the trailer. And then even if they don't become a paying client, leverage the testimonial to pimp yourself out to other people. So if you managed to get someone that was in legal to give you to do a trailer on them, don't even worry about selling them coaching. Get a great testimonial with their face on it. Then approach other legal entities that are competitors and say, hey, I'd love to offer you the opportunity to have a coaching session with me, one of our clients. And ideally, you want it to be that they know the name of them. So with me, with Fitness First, it was like, oh, yeah, one of our clients, Fitness First. So obviously, David Lloyd, we're like, well, if he's working with Fitness First, we should at least give him a meeting, because if he's good, the last thing we want is our competition getting ahead of us when it comes to training and development, right? And that's really it. And that is really it. And you know how you reach out, email, Googling them. Definitely recommend. Obviously, the voice note strategy is really powerful. Obviously, when I did the Miles More Members strategy, we don't talk about this in Master Coach. We talk about a voice message strategy. But in Miles More Members, I literally spoke to camera. I find the name of the CEO or the MD of the organization I wanted to coach. I found them, found their email address, or I call their head office and said, hey, I want to send an email to the CEO, Jan, what's the best way to send it? and you'd get like a gatekeeper secretary. Great. Thank you, Julie. I'm going to fire that over to you now. It's got a video on it. So let Jan know that it is a video from me. It's not some spammy thing. And then I'll just be me on camera, which is going to penetrate his inbox the way that an email just wouldn't, because he probably gets hundreds of them every day. So going a bit granular in detail here, but the point I'm trying to make is, you know, most people don't want coaching, but what they do want is to resolve a problem. So you've got to know what the problem is that you're going to solve. My case, it was, I know that gyms either don't have enough customers or they're losing customers. So that was my kind of proposition, really. Hey, if we have this meeting, you know, I'll share with you some ways in which I can help you to do that. Another thing that you can consider doing, which I hadn't thought of saying, but I'm going to say that now, is, and this obviously worked for me because it was gyms and I could just do this. But I went into a couple of gyms that were big brands that I couldn't get hold of. And I basically just went in for a free workout or a paid session. And I just watched the team and how they interacted. And then I reached out to the CEO and said, hey, I've been in one of your gyms today, loved the place. But I'm a trainer of sales and retention. And there were some things that I saw your team do that I think if they did it this way instead of that way, if they made these slight changes, I think you might find that your retention rate would go up and your sales might go up as well. Love to just arrange a quick coffee over Zoom or a quick meeting with you so I can just elaborate so that you know exactly what I'm sharing. And then, you know, my hidden agenda is, my hope is that once we've established that I can, you know, what I share with you is useful, then maybe perhaps you would want to consider working with me and having me coach your team. And that's really it. So all really simple, all really practical, definitely simple, not easy. It was a lot of hard work, finding those gyms, finding their email addresses, reaching out, finding them on LinkedIn, getting myself to know how to present and pitch my message on video, a lot of training on public speaking and all that kind of stuff. Obviously having a background in the industry, like, you know, I always say to our coaches, the worst thing you can do is just make a niche up. Don't do that. Go where you have an experience. So I went with where I'd been in a job. I always recommend your coaching niche, until you've got social proof that you're good, should always be where you've most had your biggest amount of time in your career, because you know what you're talking about then. You know, you're not just making it up. So that's it for today. Hope you've enjoyed the episode. Share your thoughts in the comments. Share your biggest insight or takeaway. And last, remember, Master Coach 2.0, February 25th through 26th. If you want to know more about that, email our support inbox. And yeah, look forward to seeing you there. Hope you've enjoyed the show. I'll see you on